Okay, so now we're going to talk about metrics, and in this section, we're also going to cover split tests. But before we can cover split tests and data, you need to understand how to analyze metrics when it comes to advertorial funnels. So there's a certain mindset you need to have. And in general, what I've seen is that super low level copywriters or low level business owners base the success of an individual advertorial on the click through rate or CTR. What that means is, or what click through rate means, is the percentage of people who read the advertorial and actually click through and go to the sales page where the selling is done and the sale is made. Because obviously, the selling is not done through the advertorial necessarily. The selling is actually done on the sales page where they click through. Now, click through rate is super important. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like the be all end all of your funnel. Sorry. Click through rate is important, but it's not the be all end all of your funnel. Profit and sales are. Like at the end of the day, this is what we're optimizing for. We don't care about click through rate, and we care about which advertorial is bringing us the most profit and the most sales and the highest average order value and is the most scalable. And in many cases, the advertorial with the highest click through rate is not the one that produces the most sales or profit. Why? Because the advertorial has to drive high quality traffic to the offer page in order to get conversions. With my own ecom brand, we sometimes see advertorials with lower click through rates producing more than double the sales of advertorials with higher click through rates. And like, here's an example. Obviously, I've blurred out the names of the funnels because I don't want to leak my brand. But you can see here, right? This advertorial has a 22% click through rate and it generated $1,500 in sales. This one, like beneath it, we ran it for the exact same time, by the way. It has double the click through rate, or more than double, pretty much, but it produced less than half of the sales. So even though this one is more of a winner, it makes way less money than the other one. Now, the reason for that, like I said, is because the advertorial has to drive high quality traffic. And most likely what's happened here is this advertorial with the lower click through rate, obviously people don't click as much, but the quality of people that do click are much higher. Like they have a much higher intent to buy the product. But yeah, just make sure that you're measuring the right metrics and that you're not completely focused on click through rate alone, and that you're focused on the sales. And also make sure you know why you're measuring certain metrics and why the metrics are being affected. And that comes down to how you split test. And we'll get into that in the next video. But yeah, in general, you have to send the customer to the sales page with the right frame of mind to buy. Anybody, like literally anybody, could write an advertorial with a high click through rate if they use enough clickbait. It's like if I go write an advertorial that says, click here and you get the product for free, it's going to have 100% click through rate on cold traffic because everyone likes free stuff. But the skill is in writing an advertorial that gets more sales, right? Not the one that gets the most clicks. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to make money, not get high click-through rates. So when you're looking at the metrics, take click-through rate with a grain of salt and look at the sales. Keep this in mind when you're analyzing your performance and making decisions about your split tests and whether or not you should kill the funnel. Because like I said here, 22%, but it made 1.5K. 45%, but it made $600. So clearly this one's the winner, even though the click-through rate is much lower.